everyone, today I'm going to show you a card using the Tulip Fields stamp set and also the Windmill Fields dies. So these have a windmill, one to cut out the windmill stamped image and the tree, a bicycle, fences, clouds, tulip border, quite a few different dies in there. So those are those two. And this is the finished card. I recommend cutting the windmill, the actual sails of the windmill, out of thick whisper white if you're going to have them white, because it's then you can actually turn them round. If you keep the brad loose, then you can turn the windmill around a bit, but otherwise just leave it as a decorative feature like that is really nice. So let's get started. Now I found that the best way to start was using the Stamparatus for doing the narrow bit at the top, so you'll understand what I mean in a moment. I'm just going to take polished pink ink pad and I'm just going to ink up there and come straight down like that, and I'm just going to wipe away the excess ink so it doesn't get everywhere, basically like that. So you could do a whole load if you wanted to. Now I could put this on the Stamparatus as well and do a whole load with the top and the middle and then fill in afterwards. You'll understand what I mean in a moment, but I'm actually going to, this time, I'm just going to use the acrylic block because I'm only doing one card. So I'm actually going to use Mango Melody in the middle this time. So because it's nice and bright and I want a really bright middle. So if you get this, with the Stamparatus, this line is in the centre, so I know to have my base about there, and you don't have to be precise because the windmill will be covering some of this. So that's the first one. And now the next one's going to be Fresh Freesia. I'm actually going to use a Fresh Freesia card base for this. And you can see it's slightly off centre, but I think you'll see in a moment that that doesn't really matter. It's a little bit more difficult doing like this because I haven't got my head straight over. So forgive me if it doesn't come out quite as straight as it would have done. Actually, that's not too bad. I'm really pleased with that. And now I'm going to get Pale Papaya and do Pale Papaya for the second yellow. The Mango Melody will give it a bit of a lift. And then the Pale Papaya just gives a variety of colour. So if I just eyeball this as best as I can, and that's pretty good. Doesn't matter having a bit of a white gap between the tulips. There we go. In fact, if you want to, you can just ink up the edge of the stamp and just very gently do an extra bit like that at the edge. There we go. Right, so that's my field. So now I'm going to close up my Stamparatus and put that away, and then I can finish the rest of the card. So, okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to take a little tree stamp that is actually in the set, which is really good for doing a tree, some trees I should say, on the horizon. So because I'm going to be putting fence along there, I'm going to do these a little bit higher this time. And I could just do one there as well. So now I'm going to take, I should have some little pieces of fence there in here. So that's another one that I did earlier just in case I went wrong with this, but I think that's okay. This time my windmill's going to be Soft Succulent with white. I've already done my Sentiment Happy Birthday. This is some of the Tulip Designer Series paper. That's the red and white tulips that side, but you've got some lovely clouds on the other side, and I've gone and stamped my trees and that should go there, so I'm going to have to stamp my trees again, but that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick, which is what I should have done before I stamp the trees, is to stick this piece on like this. And it's a little bit bigger than it should be, but that's okay because I've got my snips here and I can easily trim it off. I have a pair of snips which I use with glue, and then a pair of snips that I use for ribbon and for when I don't have glue because I don't want to mess them up. So as you can see, I'm going to, there's fencing in the dies as well. You've got double fence or you've got single fences. I thought it was easier to use this as a double fence. So I'm just going to stamp the trees in again. As you can see, they're a little bit higher. And I'm just going to put that there like that. And then I'm just going to put some Tombow on the back of the fence. You don't need a lot. Tombow has silicone in it, so it's a very, very good glue. So one's going to go there. And then the other one is going to go on the other side. And then these will be covered by the windmill, as you'll see. There is a windmill stamp as well, but I really like this windmill die. I think it looks fabulous. So that's why I wanted to use it. So that's like that. And then I'm going to take the windmill and be generous with your dimensionals for this. I'm going to put one here. In fact, I've got some leftovers here. So I'm going to put one there. And I've got one there, a whole one there. And I've got a spare whole one here, so that's perfect. So I've got 3 dimensionals on the back, large ones. You go through a lot of dimensionals. I think it's not worth faffing around. Now I've got to decide where to have that. I'm going to have it just there. And then I'm going to put more dimensionals on the back of here. So I'll probably use these ones, which I can use up. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could put this on a coloured background, but I think I'll just leave this as it is because I don't want to cover too many of the tulips in the field because they look so nice. Right, there's the happy birthday. I just need to move it over a little bit. You can see the sails of the windmill turning a little bit then, which is quite nice. Okay, so this time I've decided to do it on polished pink and then fresh freesia. So I'm going to take the the polished pink, put just a smattering of Tombow on the back, put that on there, and then I'm going to take this, and if I hadn't put the windmill on dimensionals, then I could have had this piece on dimensionals, but I guess if I wanted to, I could have some birds in the sky as well, is a thought, but do you know what, I think I'll just leave it like that. So there you go. So there's the happy birthday card with the windmill. And have a beautiful day. This sentiment comes from the Blessings of Home stamp set that's in the mini catalogue. It says what a beautiful day for love, but I just inked up what a beautiful day, and I just think it's a really nice sentiment. And the other one comes from a celebration stamp set, which sadly is retired now, but it's a jolly useful stamp set, so I'm going to carry on using that one. So there you go. Those are my 2 cards. Really hope that you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.